Well, the trust programs really should be focusing on single family and multifamily development, really 20 and under type of projects, not mega projects, and better yet, 10 and under is really the sweet spot for multifamily that the trust supports over time. And those properties are available. And then prioritize funds. It's usually a good idea to target funds where homeowners are most vulnerable. Another good idea for the trust, so a high priority. Our immediate recommendations, and as Joanne mentioned, these are the first two programs the trust has launched, rehab program and a home buyer assistance program. And very honestly, because also this is what I do is compare programs like this, this is one of the best and most generous programs in the state of Florida. And so encourage yourselves, your friends, your family to start taking it. These are very generous programs. This is a large amount of money to help with rehab, up to $50,000. And then the amounts of money available to assist a homeowner as a down payment assistance. These are really good programs, and they're already underway. When I talked about existing programs, there's at least 12, it might be up to 17 existing programs that apply right here in Little Haiti to help homeowners with down payment assistance. The city has 2 programs for rehab. They've got another program for first-time home buyers. The county has a home loan program. They have a down payment assistance program. And Miami-Dade also has one of the most creative programs in the country, is that Section 8 renters have the option, working with the county, to take their Section 8 vouchers and apply them to ownership, converting renters to owners. And they're already getting vouchers. It is a really great creative program. It's already here. So if the trust can tap into these existing programs, it's going a very long way. Building Together is a nonprofit that does very good work. They focus on seniors and veterans, and they put together donated time, money, and contractor skills, and they'll do as many as 60 homes in a weekend and do everything from systems to toilets to kitchens to roof. They help out, especially older homeowners, stay in their homes by helping you stay at no cost. That's an existing program that can be brought to Little Haiti, as well as converting to solar energy. The Solar Energy Loan Fund and the Solar Co-op just got $169 million in funding. They're looking for places in South Florida to enact their Solar Co-op, where they come in and buy materials and labor. By pooling a number of homeowners together, they buy it at low cost. That's another huge potential advantage for homeowners in Little Haiti, because the end of the day, they combine low interest financing, grants, and then low cost of installation. And so what they usually do, what they almost always do with their homeowners who are participating, you end up with solar power. You end up with it at a lower cost per month than you do with FPL. So it actually reduces your entire energy bill. Your house is more efficient, and it's all property tax free. Solar improvements in the state of Florida do not get added to the assessed value of the house. So it's a tax-free improvement in value. And in neighborhoods like Little Haiti, the typical cost and typical value they add to a property is about $20,000 to $25,000. That's a significant boost with no tax consequences. Nice deal. And then expanding supply with developers. There's also a wide variety of programs, state, county, and local. So developers who do want to build property and build larger projects, there's plenty of incentives. So there's a vast amount of local programs already here, underutilized and undercapitalized on. But our major recommendation of the trust just focuses on pooling its funds. And they've already done that. They've structured all of their grant programs so they can be layered into, stacked on top of, and partnered with existing programs that extends their money even further. I'll talk about the end about how that really works. The other thing is partnering. Talk about layering and adding, partnering with others who can bring in especially low-cost debt, community development finance institutions, extremely well established. They've existed since the 70s, billions in loans, mostly to minority-owned businesses, homeowners. But there's a number of small local CDFIs, and then there's a number of national, very large CDFIs. We've talked to a handful who would be very interested in talking to the trust. So there's an opportunity to partner to put together some low-cost debt financing. That also extends the trust. That what it really means is the typical loan terms that CDFIs apply means that for every dollar that the trust puts into either a home project or commercial, with its own money, actually leverages about $20 in additional financing. So that's a 1 to 20 leverage ratio is actually outstanding. Great way to extend the trust's funding. Also working with community land trusts. As prices go up, community land trusts may be one of the most viable vehicles to help people get into a new home or to buy a home. Land trusts work pretty simply. They will buy a property with a homeowner or actually buy one and sell them to owners, but the trust keeps the land underneath the home. And they do a 99-year lease, but basically that takes the cost of the land out of the transaction. So that immediately shrinks the amount of equity and debt that the homeowner has to take on, makes it that much more affordable. And good land trusts are really good at getting very cheap or offering very cheap debt. So it's a great way. You negotiate a price increase, so you still build equity in the property. And once the property is sold, the trust still keeps the land, and then it's an agreement to keep it affordable within means. So you still, price goes up slower, but you earn equity as the owner, and then the unit stays relatively free. So that's a great vehicle that could work. The trust, being forward-looking, has already done its first deal with the South Florida Community Land Trust. They put $250,000 into their first project, so that's a model for their future operation. And I think there's a lot more to do with community land trusts and shared equity. Remember, I talked about the universe being turned on its head with federal funding and the state, increasing the amount of private investment that comes into Little Haiti, I think, is crucial to have those menu and flexibility of options. Two ways to do that, interestingly enough. The Community Contribution Tax Credit. It's a program in Florida. Any business can donate money to a qualified project and get a 50% tax credit on it. It's a great deal for businesses that do that, but that's private money being added free into a project. Great way to bring private money into Little Haiti. Social impact investors. The Opportunity Zone was originally created in the first Trump administration. And it's for wealthy investors who sell an asset and then take a capital gains benefit on it. But using the Opportunity Zone, and Little Haiti is a qualified Opportunity Zone, they can invest money in projects in Little Haiti and they get a reduction in their tax benefit, especially if they hold it for 10. A really good way to get additional private investment into Little Haiti. And as it turns out, there are about 25 social impact, what are called Opportunity Zone funds. These are funds that have a double bottom line. They make a small profit, but they also do it for social benefit, and they all invest in affordable housing. So a nice vehicle, if tapped, to bring more private money. Again, expanding that whole dinner menu of options. But you may ask, what about investment for the rest of us? This shouldn't be just kind of a rich old dude game. There are plenty of opportunities for everybody to invest in Little Haiti, and I do think this is crucial. I'll talk about it at the very end. Two ways to do that. There are, same way there are social impact opportunity funds, there's social impact real estate investment trusts. And these are actually stock-based. They own, manage, develop property, real estate. So it has it's not like buying stock, it has a real basis in an asset. Anybody can invest into a REIT. And there are about 12 to 14 social impact REITs that specialize in affordable housing. Another way to bring private financing, a great way to democratize investment and provide a vehicle for all of us to participate and put funds back into the community that you either grew up in or love. Limited equity investment trust is a similar vehicle. That's any individuals and businesses can pool funds. If it's certified by the Treasury Department, it actually gets a series of tax benefits, and any debt that it takes on can be guaranteed by Freddie Mac. That's an individual investment vehicle. It's basically, it's ESO with tax benefits. great vehicle for residents, for regular folks in Little Haiti to invest in their community. Long-term, partnering with other nonprofits to go after HUD funding as it exists, participate in city funding vehicles, another smart strategy. Long-term also, community redevelopment agencies are contentious in Florida, but they really are probably the best development finance vehicle there is in the state. CRAs operate once a zone is defined. They collect a portion of the existing property taxes, and that is used to fund development and other programs inside the zone as it's defined. And so it's at no cost to any of the property owners. You just pay your regular tax bill. The CRA makes an agreement with the city and county to keep a portion of that and dedicate and return that into the community. Great vehicle. I've worked with a lot of CRAs. I've helped build a couple. It is a great way to fund them at no cost, additional cost to anyone. The problem is, 2 weeks ago, Florida House Bill 199 proposes to kill CRAs and end them forever in Florida. Now, that's what I mean about a topsy-turvy world. But this has happened twice before in the last 6 years, and it's failed. So it's uncertain whether it's going to pass. But again, a great possible vehicle. It could raise $2.5 to $4 million a year for Little Haiti. And then, as I mentioned, targeting at-risk areas, we've defined what we think are priority areas to watch for targeting funds and helping stabilize homeowners. How this works, that's what I mean about stacking, layering, partnering. By the trust leveraging its funds, using just its $5 million, and with existing programs that are here on the ground, a little bit of low-cost debt in the mix, you can reach down payments as low as $0. You can use the trust and its grant program to do initial repairs. Lower monthly energy costs if you take advantage of the solar loan program. You can get lower interest rates. You can also get some loans guaranteed, and it really creates vehicles for residents to become owners and investors. The net result is we calculate that using rather straightforward existing programs in combination with the trust money, not having to get exotic or creative, we can actually increase the pool of possible owners of property who could afford to own property about 1,000 households more. And in an area where there's 8,000 or so total households, that's significant. So you can get there, and it doesn't have to be exotic. Remember? Buy back the block. Buy back the block. Everything the trust can do to fuel, empower, accelerate buying back the block. And I hope our Creole translation is accurate. Does that capture it? Okay. All right, accelerating competition for small businesses. Really important. Our priorities are take advantage of the trust's small business program. It's one of the most generous in the state. It's really good money. It's string-free grant money, and it can go a long way. $20,000 for property, $10,000 for equipment, which can go a very long way for a small business. Take advantage, promote that, keep driving that, and pool those monies the same way on the housing side with other small business programs. We think also that a partnership, remember the trust has limited capabilities to own and develop, manage property, need to find effective partners like a community development planning institute and others that can help buy property, but purchasing strategic properties along 2nd Avenue especially is probably a really good idea to keep as affordable small business space. The trust doesn't have a lot of funding to do that, but can rely on partners to do that. And that's probably a great opportunity for those private investment tools, Opportunity Zone, Community Contribution Tax Credit, and then REITs as well. So this is where actually residents will can participate in owning and developing property long-term that stays affordable. Down the road, that's probably a very good idea. Buy back the block. Small business accelerators and incubators are actually really crucial. And unfortunately, we have a shortage of them across the county that are really effective. Nationally, the numbers are incredible. 87% of small businesses that go through an incubator accelerator, they have an 87% chance of surviving 5 years or more, where the national average for ones that don't is only about 44%. So more than half of all small businesses fail in the first 5 years. If you go through an incubator and accelerator, which provides mentoring, will help you set up taxes, will help you form your corporation, and then actually help you develop your business plan and get funding to grow. That's what a good accelerator does. The success rate is phenomenal. And as luck would have it, we happen to have the top-ranked small business development center that runs incubator accelerator services in the nation. The Small Business Development Center at FIU is actually funded by SBA, the Small Business Administration, but it does soup to nuts services, formation, through mentoring, through fundraising, and its results are incredible. That's why it was ranked in 2023 as #1 in the entire country. It's raised almost $800 million for its client businesses. And this is not some high-tech incubator or accelerator focusing on the next unicorn. They service mom and pop, micro businesses, small businesses. They basically take care of the entire rest of the small business universe that the high-end tech accelerators don't, and they do a great job of it. So working on building an incubator here in Little Haiti, I think, is central to its mission, an effective one, absolutely. In terms of long-term, the trust is offering a range of services to businesses, homeowners, and as we'll see, to individuals and people seeking jobs. Centralizing those services in one location would be a great idea, a one-stop shop where you can come in, and the trust specializes basically as a concierge, helping you connect with services, other buyers, businesses, but doing that in one location is probably a good idea down the road. And as we have done with everything, we're providing a recommendation on target industries in terms of making investments in businesses. The trust will look at all businesses, of course, but there's some best bets that we know are going to grow faster and have the best chance of survival over the next 10 years. And that's a smart way for the trust to invest its money also to ensure best success. Like I said, investing in people, absolutely crucial. You've got to invest in place. You've got to invest in people, even more than place, because that's what defines the place. So helping residents compete for jobs. The Trust existing program is another good one. It's already invested in the Toussaint Center, which provides digital coding, financial literacy, job training skills. Extending and continuing with other partners, I think, is crucial. Because remember, talked about all that opportunity being created in the market area in Little Haiti. Getting residents to compete for those jobs and move up the ladder is central. Because somebody who's earning more money can now afford a house. Maybe they can afford to buy a house when they couldn't before. So parallel with its housing, with its small business programs, helping residents climb up that ladder and build that skill ladder is central. Great way to do it. There's a number of partners who provide great services. The trust is looking at a hiring requirement. So for every dollar it invests in a project, it requires up to 30% of residents be hired for that work. They're looking at launching training programs to help contractors get certified and compete for some of those jobs as well immediately. And then a simple one, but can be really effective, is quarterly job fairs. I've worked with a number of providers in the past, and the results can be phenomenal. I've watched a job fair provider set up and actually connect 100 people with new jobs in a single Saturday. So these can be a simple way to connect employers. It's even a better idea when you're connecting local employers with local workers, and that could be done on a quarterly basis at very little cost to the trust, and start hooking people up with jobs. And then providing these extended services through partners as well, including just job readiness, finding skills, scholarships, funding. Long term, as it is, some of you probably know a 529 savings account in Florida is where a parent can tax-free put money into a savings account, and that money is used later for college expenses for their kids. Both Catalyst Miami and the Bayside Foundation have a program where they have donors who match your save for qualified parents. They'll actually double or they'll match your savings. So you're actually as much as doubling those savings going in. So helping residents build savings programs for kids' future college education, another great way to invest in people and improve your labor force locally in cold economic terms, but it's a great way to advance the community. And the same way, we've targeted best bet occupations, and the possibilities here, again, are extensive. I talked about the 18,000 jobs requiring a high school degree, 25,000 jobs, and these are all paying more than $65,000 a year right here in and around Little Haiti. So targeting those opportunities, connecting employers with local workers, connecting workers with job opportunities, big leg up in terms of increasing incomes. The last element, preserving, protecting, promoting Haitian culture. This is not only most important, but probably most challenging, capturing essence, capturing that idea of, well, what are we protecting, what are we promoting? We've come at it a number of different ways. First one is that we really think that the trust should be globally promoting Little Haiti. So we produced initial marketing videos to do just that, and that'll be looping out in the lobby. But really promoting Little Haiti, not just in Miami-Dade, but around the world. No, it's not advancing properly here. Hold on. This is where the trust begins by promoting its existing businesses, promoting them to new visitors, promoting Haitian Caribbean culture, the unique place that this is for new people to come and experience, different people to come experience, but really building on its existing business, helping them grow and getting them greater exposure. We think there's a global story to tell. And there are global stories to tell about residents. So we helped start a program, Little Haiti Stories, where people can record their own stories, their unique perspective, and start telling the story to the rest of the world about what Little Haiti is. Reaching social impact investors. The trust has got to act not just as a promoter of Little Haiti itself, but actually promote it to like-minded, socially conscious investors and start recruiting them from around the country. Reaching the Haitian diaspora to reinvest. This is a big one. I'll deal with it extensively at the end. But all of those people who have grown up in Little Haiti, moved away from Little Haiti, that's one going to be the keys to success of Little Haiti's future. And then building a finalized marketing program, we've suggested a tagline, but it really needs a logo, a tagline, a kind of a formal marketing program later down the road. Also a new trust website, which Joanne is in the process of building. This will also go a long way in helping promote Little Haiti. Again, like a community development hub where it's one-stop shopping to get services, the website should do the same thing. And quite honestly, publicly owned websites are not terribly good at doing that. So building a new website that's its own unique website that offers all of its marketing, promotion, applications, loan applications, grant applications all in one stop, we think is crucial. And I also want to talk, today we have this Samantha Maldonado from the city. There is an existing cultural district defined for Little Haiti. One of the trust goals is to upgrade and change the definition of that, but I'll hand it to Samantha to talk about where they're at in that review process.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, everyone. As Kevin stated, my name is Samantha Maldonado. I'm from the City of Miami Planning Department. I'm an urban design planner. And so just to give a little bit of a background on the map you see up here. So in 2005, we, as a city, adopted the district, and it was really a way to try and preserve the architectural and cultural and historic character and the elements of the neighborhood. So what kind of happened was a few years later, we had a big overhaul of our zoning code. And a couple of the things were kind of lost in translation. So we have a little bit of trouble trying to re-examine the boundaries. So staff is working on examining the boundaries, but the intent of the overlay is obviously still there. And it's really, again, about preserving the cultural, architectural, and historic heritage. So in comes what we're, I guess, talking about today in providing the design guidelines. I kind of just want to go over how to implement that, because it's always the hardest part. We have all these ideas, we have a playbook and all the guidelines, but how exactly are we going to implement that so we can actually see it happen and realized in the neighborhood? So I think the most important thing to remember is that we have to know the outcome first. So we have to know what exactly you guys want to see the neighborhood look like in 10, 20 to 30 years, which can be kind of difficult because obviously everyone wants to see things quickly. We want keys indoors, but as we know, the reality of it is a lot of these things do take time. So what I'm really here for today is just to try to listen, to see what exactly the goals and the outcomes and the needs are of the neighborhood. And then we can go back and we can decide, okay, how are we going to implement all these outcomes? So there's a couple different ways, excuse me, to do this in the neighborhood. There's a couple different planning tools. So we have the design, we have the guidelines. The design guidelines. And again, we have a precedent for that in the code. We have an overlay like this. So it could just be a matter of adopting a new program so we can say, okay, we want the neighborhood to look like this. We're going to have certain architectural standards, certain colors, certain things we want to see. But this is more about the exterior of the design of the buildings along this corridor you see up here. There's also other different planning tools. So we also have the neighborhood revitalization district. So that's what you see in the Wynwood neighborhood and Wynwood Norte. This is a little bit different from the design, a little different from the design guidelines. This is more about increasing the development capacity. So it's kind of like an upzoning, and a lot of it is it's really incentive based. So for example, we'll give the developers a little bit of extra height, a little bit, just extra programs to achieve a little bit more of an urban character of the neighborhood. So instead of having a neighborhood that's completely single family, it could be a neighborhood that has 2 to 3 to 4 story buildings while still protecting the residential character of the neighborhood. But a typology like that allows you to be able to walk to the corner store and allow a little bit more of those commercial uses in your neighborhood. So that's just another option. There's a few different ones too. The last one I'll kind of go into is the neighborhood conservation area. So for example, this is something you would see in, for example, Coconut Grove, in particular the East Grove, where they don't really want to change the character of the neighborhood. They're saying this is how we want the neighborhood to stay. They have certain specific rules for the neighborhood, but they really don't want people touching or changing the character of it. So all that being said, the goal here really is to see what exactly is in the playbook, what we have the recommendations today that you've been collecting over the past year and examining and analyzing, and we want to receive the feedback from you guys on how you feel about that and what you actually want to see in the neighborhood over the next 10, 20 to 30 years. So again, we really need to understand the outcome and the goals, and then we can go back and say, okay, this is how we're going to implement those goals. We're going to do design guidelines. We're going to do a revitalization district. We're going to do historic district. We're going to do this, that, and the other. So again, it's really about just trying to assess what are the needs of the community, and then we'll figure out how to get there together. And I'm happy to talk at the end if you guys have any questions. Feel free. Here you go.
Thanks, Samantha. And it is being discussed right now with Joanne in the city. Like we're saying, we're not suggesting changing the underlying zoning. The underlying zoning is actually quite excellent. It allows 5 stories high, and it actually promotes walkable, vibrant, mixed-use development. So the underlying zoning, what we heard in the community workshops was that, you know, the number one issue, when you enter Little Haiti, you don't know you're in Little Haiti. What is it you can make Little Haiti, how can you make it physically distinctive? So we developed the design guidelines, and I'm going to go through these very fast. Really looking at, you know, it's the kind of addresses the combination of forces that define Haitian kind of feel and architecture. And it's African, Caribbean, and European all mixed together. And if there's anything that's distinctive about it, is that free expression. No 2 properties are the same next to each other. So this is not about making everybody look the same. This is actually encouraging property owners to do something different than the people on both sides. That's a key to all of this. So we looked actually at color palette, applying that to existing buildings. So you get a Haitian color palette working on multi-story buildings as well. Applying it to storefronts with other elements, signage. Materials, facades, and fixtures. This is what I mean about allowing property owners to do something different and be expressive and creative. That's a key, is that no 2 buildings actually look alike, is oddly one of the keys to something that's, we think, uniquely Caribbean or Haitian. And expressing that, we've also, one of the biggest things that came out of the community workshops is also, can you make 2nd Avenue into a safe street, a slow street? So we've done a complete design that actually widens the sidewalks, narrows the traffic lanes, captures back a good portion of the street for pedestrian use, cycling. I can't really see it here, but we've done a complete concept design for the streets. Also vegetation through both temporary and permanent planters. This doesn't have to be expensive. Bus stops. Why not make a distinctive Little Haiti bus stop like has been done in other places in Chicago? Paving design, permanent and temporary. You can paint. You can do wonders with painted crosswalks and painted. Start establishing that identity. Signage and public art. A simple program to develop a distinctive set of street signs and start renaming streets. This was a big priority for Haitian prominent cultural, business leaders, political leaders, historical figures. Again, redefining, adding this all up to define a place that's uniquely Haitian Caribbean. We'll be almost done. And then we did a single family design as well. So you start applying this, the key to the design guidelines is that they're really affordable, and you can use the trust grants to actually pay for making these changes. And we're recommending that these start as voluntary, not mandatory. So you're not putting an extra burden. When you start looking down the road on what's possible, you know, this is a kind of a far-looking look down the road, but a lot of things are possible that start to build this place as something unique, different, and you know you're in Little Haiti when you get here. Long-term, we're looking at infrastructure and investing in new artists. When you look at the impacts of all these programs put together, if you combine these strategies, you start to use them in a mix, stacking, layering, partnering, the impacts, just using very achievable targets. You don't have to hit home runs. We never recommend trying to hit grand slams in terms of development. Singles and doubles. 5 to 10 businesses a year, 10 to 20 homeowners, reasonable targets on helping workers actually adds up to very significant benefits. We think that over 10 years, it's possible for the trust making the right partnerships to leverage that $5 million into about $80 million of total investment, simply by bringing partners and then doing that 1 to 20 or better leverage ratio. So it's possible, and it's not through gigantic programs, but very manageable programs. The one last thing I want to talk about is the trust has a small staff. So what they'll do is focus on being a community bank. They'll focus on being a concierge, helping you and businesses find the right services and grants. They're also going to be the best promoter, and not just in terms of promoting, in terms of marketing, but also finding investors and bringing them in. But there's a missing piece of this. I just finished my 5th major study of the Miami-Dade economy over the last 8 years. And it was actually for a city that's far out of town who was very interested in finding, well, what's the magic? What's driving Miami? How's tech economy expanding this fast? And they immediately start saying, well, how many millions did you spend on marketing? And do you have a major marketing entity? And they're kind of disappointed when I say, no, it's two things. Miami has the fastest growing tech economy in the United States based on two things. Small businesses that started innovating, developing, starting about 10 years ago, and then organizing. And they built this ecosystem of small businesses that started it. The second thing that surprises people, word of mouth. The pandemic was one of the worst things to happen to Miami-Dade, but it was also a weird good thing that happened to Miami-Dade, in that young entrepreneurs, particularly from San Francisco, started moving. They came to Miami not to stay, but just to visit. Two in particular, they don't like their names being used. Two in particular sold their companies in San Francisco, came here just to hang out, and ended up staying, and ended up promoting to their friends back in California and around the world. They've now successfully brought about 25 other businesses to Little Haiti. Their two social media accounts have 2 million followers. The Beacon Council, which does a very good job of marketing, has about 320,000 followers. And I say this because that's not just what grew Miami, but this is what's going to grow Little Haiti. And it's all of you partnering with the trust. There's no government agency. There's no single entity. There's no single large developer, even multiple. It's going to be residents of Little Haiti stepping up. It's time to start that business. Use the trust grant. It's time to buy that home. Try and find a way to afford it working with the trust. And it's time to get, I know, old school, on the phone or your group chats or wherever, and start talking to the friends, family, and people who have left Little Haiti to come back and invest. So the trust is built to empower you to do that, and that's what we're doing. To scan for the survey, and these are the QR codes for the survey and the supplemental materials. And I want to thank you all for your time today.
Thank you so much, Kevin. So the next point now, we're going to set up the stage in which there's going to be 5 screens. And at each of the screens, there's different areas that we would like your feedback on. So we have affordable housing, we have business section, we have the Haitian American culture, investing in people, and then the final one is the concept book, which includes the design guidelines on how we would like to see Little Haiti look. And so I encourage you to please share with us your thoughts. In the meantime as well, we invite you to join us in the lobby where we will be serving brunch. It's also an opportunity to network. I want to make sure that each of you please connect with the trust. We try to be that vehicle of information about resources that are available. We have our small business grant, our home rehab grant. Each month, we host our board meetings. We also do an open house series. Every month, we have a different topic that we provide information on. We had it on employment. We had it on youth programs for children and teens in the community. And the next one will be featuring and talking about child abuse and human trafficking, which is the information that's out there for April. And so please connect with us, and I would like for you guys to go ahead and come down and use your phones. We also, for those who aren't interested in scanning QR codes, we do have the survey in paper format if you would prefer, and you can have the opportunity to complete that as well. Thank you so much for being here today on behalf of the Board of Directors. Thank you for Alyssa for being here. We also have our Chair, Leslie Inglad Dorlands, our Vice Chair, Ashley Toussaint, Rudy Meme, and also Robert Holland that weren't able to be here today, but they send their warm wishes and they're happy that you are here today to be able to provide your input. As Sam from the city had stated, that we'll be making sure to provide that feedback as to what the community would like to see so that we can make sure that we implement it over the next years in this strategic plan that we're building for Little Haiti. Our goal is to be able to have the final plan for you, hopefully ready by May, which is Haitian Heritage Month. So we'll be working hard on collecting all that feedback and implementing any changes so that we can come back and do this again in May. Thank you so much for joining us. Please go outside and enjoy yourselves, and please make sure to provide us with feedback. Thank you.